20. We can speak now to the Chief Secretary to the Treasury, Danny Alexander. Very good morning to you, Mr. Alexander. And just
very good morning.
Tell us a little bit more about how you would propose to do more and go further on cracking down on tax evasion and avoidance that you didn't manage to do in the Parliament just gone.
Well, in this Parliament, we've raised the income tax threshold to £10,600 because of the Liberal Democrats. 27 million working people are seeing tax cuts worth £825 a year. We want to go further on that in the next Parliament. The first stage would be going to £11,000 in our first budget. We'd pay for that by aligning the taxation of dividends more closely with the taxation of income. That's come out of line over the last few years. And then beyond that, once we balance the books, all further revenues that we get from tackling avoidance and evasion would go towards putting money straight back into the pockets of the people who are working so hard to power this country forward. So, for example, there's a lot of further work that's going on internationally to change the tax rules to make sure that multinational companies pay their fair share of tax. We'd make sure that the UK was at the forefront of implementing those new arrangements. When you look at our record over the last 5 years, £2 billion every year, sometimes more, from tackling avoidance and evasion. So I think there's plenty of scope to continue and accelerate that progress.
This is the Lib Dems taking care of the workers, isn't it? And I'm sure you're expecting me, of course, to ask you why you won't name the senior Conservative figure who apparently said, you take care of the workers and we'll take care of the bosses.
Well, I'm not going to get into naming names because this is not about one individual and their views. This is about spelling out the difference of...
Can you tell us why you won't name this person, though?
Because I think what's important here is to spell out the difference in values that exists between Liberal Democrats and Conservatives. After all, the Tories are quite outrageously trying to claim the credit for a Liberal Democrat key policy in this Parliament.
But that's why so many people are baffled, Mr. Alexander. Sorry to interrupt, but that's why so many people are baffled that you won't name names. I mean, this is quite a bitter row, isn't it, over who can claim the credit. And, you know, Nick Clegg says you're being perfectly decent and saving the individual embarrassment by not naming them, yet the Conservatives are perfectly happy to say that you made this up.
Well, I will name the person involved in 30 years' time when I write my memoirs. In the meantime,
that's not much good to us now, though. And it's not much good to this election campaign, Mr. Alexander, is it?
I think that most people understand that there is a big difference between Liberal Democrats and Conservatives, that Liberal Democrats are focused on the working people of this country, that we promised to increase the tax threshold, to put money back into the pockets, especially of those working hard on low and middle incomes. Throughout the last 5 years, the Tory priority has always been something else. It's been inheritance tax cuts for millionaires, it's been a shares for rights scheme, it's been a tax break for married couples, disadvantaging people who are not married. They've lurched from one place to another. By and large, their policies have been about favouring the better off. Liberal Democrats have consistently, day and daily, Nick Clegg and myself, battled to ensure that the most money, that the most effort goes back into the pockets of working people. And I think that most people understand that difference of values, and if anything, this comment just helps to spell that out.
OK, thank you very much. Danny Alexander, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.